What's happening, everybody? I'm back. It's me, your resident supervillain, Mr. J. Washington, here with another one-on-one with a supervillain. For those who haven't heard, this is where I sit down with members of my Supervillain Squad Patreon who are at my $25 tier who support me. We sit down and we talk for at least an hour about whatever it is they want to talk about. These conversations, as I always say, have been unique, have been different, have been interesting. And a lot of them have been coming back around with the same people who have supported, and the conversations each continue to be different and keep being engaging, and I love it. And so this time around, I'm talking to one of my homies again from my hometown, Chicago, man. And we got a lot to talk about with this, man. Because I'll tell y'all, the homie Chauncey Woodson. What's happening, bro?
What's good, brother? What's cracking? What's up, Super?
Hey, man. Hey, man, listen. Can we talk about the fact that the city out here acting dumb again and everybody want to be mad at the mayor?
Man, where the hell do I begin with that? This is what people fail to realize. Like, as soon as they start saying stuff about, the cases spiking up, in the past couple of weeks, cases have been spiking higher than usual. And, with it getting colder or what have you, it was bound to happen somewhere down the line. So it's like, in order for people to, to stay safe, the mayor calls herself doing what she got to do, but everybody getting into their feelings about stuff getting closed down again and restrictions put on. But it's like, people, we in the pandemic.
Y'all did this.
Exactly. Thank you.
It's like y'all did this. Like, everybody thought, the one thing that I keep talking about with everybody, especially when I'm talking to people back home, is like people just went, I'm over this. It's done. Like, that's not how that works at all. Like, you can't just be, I'm over this and I'm good and that. You know what I'm saying? I'm over this now. That means there's nothing else happening. Like, yo, again, everybody understands that everybody that gets the virus is not going to die, fortunately. But at the same time, it is Russian roulette with who will die now. It is legit become Russian roulette. Like, you can't sit here and say, for a fact that one group in particular is going to pass from it or another group. Nobody knows anymore.
No, you don't. Because, especially in my case, being an essential worker and where I'm working at, it's like I'm in a constant struggle on checking these truck drivers to make sure they're wearing face masks and stuff before they come on my dock trying to make deliveries and such when I ask them to do such. And, hate to say what it is, most of these guys who happen to be white, they coming up in there, want to throw hissy fits or whatever. But it's like, dude, we're in a pandemic. I'm not getting sick because you don't want to wear a mask.
Exactly. And I don't know why people forget that.
For myself. Right.
Like, I already heard the suburbs are full on shutdown now. And now it's like there's a curfew for the city. And, some of the things that people thought they were going to be able to do as bars and shit are shut back down. It's like, all right. But again, like you mentioned earlier, I said it in the beginning, like, yo, this was going to come back around again, cold and flu season. And look what we at, cold and flu season, and it's coming back around, and people act like, oh, I don't know what's going on. Oh, they just trying to keep controlling people. Like, ain't nobody trying to control y'all. Shut the fuck up with that dumb nonsense. Like, ain't nobody trying to rule over nobody. It's the fact that, yo, shit is crazy right now. It's the fact that shit is spiking again, and nobody's taking precautions. Nobody cares. I got a homegirl who works out there, and she works in the burbs, right?
Right.
And another one of her girls that she's cool with from work dropped her off from work one day. Well, the next day she dropped her off, she tells everybody, oh, I found out. So she dropped off on Thursday, come find out on Friday. So old girl was like, well, I found out on Tuesday my father-in-law was positive for COVID. Then I got tested on Wednesday and found out I'm positive. And then she went to work on Thursday.
What the hell?
So you got people out here being extra reckless, not giving a fuck about nobody, thinking, oh, man, I got COVID. It's okay. I can go to work and I can go do everything I was doing. Like,
it's like, because like, what was that? Matter of fact, I was supposed to get together with a couple of my best friends. Well, one of them was going to go see after the show, and another one was supposed to ride with me, but he said he wasn't feeling too tough, so he had to go ahead and get his test on or whatever like that. At least he being responsible because he's a husband and a father, and he, doing what his best to keep safe. Anybody else like that, like what you say, your homegirl mentioned, it's like, why do y'all don't give a fuck about nobody else, man?
And then, like you said, I don't know. And like you just said, your boy was being responsible because, of course, like again, now we're at the point where you kind of have to get tested because you really don't know if it's the cold, flu, or COVID. Unless you ain't been around nobody. You know what I'm saying? If you ain't been around nobody, then you ain't got to worry about nothing. More than likely, it's one of those two things. You know what I'm saying? It's like, all right, it's a cold, it's a flu. I ain't been around nobody, so I know I'm COVID free. That's not the situation. No. But like for me, again, ain't been around nobody. So I know for me, it's the cold, of the flu, my allergies, or my sinuses. It's one of the four of those. You know what I'm saying? And so, but if I did, let's say I started being around people and doing more things and all this, and all of a sudden I find out, man, I'm not feeling right, I'm gonna go get tested immediately. Dude, bro, when I did the weakest link, we had to get tested too. So I shot my episode on August 29th, right? First of all, that's fucked up that we are almost in November and August 29th is that far ago.
Man.
Let's just do that. But I had to go get tested on the 24th, on the 25th, my birthday, just to be able to, and then get tested before I was able to go on set when I arrived on the 29th. So it's one of those situations where I'm like, if by any chance I got anything then, somebody really slipped up somewhere because they was making sure there's no way possible production stops. But it's like, man, how the fuck? I just don't get people nowadays, man. Again, like I said, I think and I've said this before, and I think I said it to you too. Had COVID come had this be the first time around when it hit, we'd be good.
Right.
Because this that time of year where people want to be in the crib anyway. It started getting cold. Most people ain't going out doing stuff. They got more likely they got people coming over, but they ain't going out and all this other stuff. So like you eliminate half of the possibilities of transmission right there. Right. But because it happened in the spring, beginning of summer, everybody was like, I'm gonna keep my plans. And you like, yo, your plans ain't gonna happen because shit shut down.
Exactly.
Like, what do you think?
Because like I'm about to take a few days off from the job in a couple of days, and as much as I'd like to go somewhere, I can't because everything shut down.
I know a lot of people going out the country. Like, so again, that's 200 countries you can't go to if you're from the U.S. off jump, right? Because we're the most irresponsible country in the world.
And even if you do go somewhere and come back, you got to quarantine for 14 days automatically.
Well, here's the crazy part about it. So this is the thing too with the whole, if you fly, you got to quarantine. Unless you are going to one of those states, one of those countries, not even states, one of those countries that are strictly enforcing it out the gate, it's like it's advised to self-quarantine. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
Which is a big difference from automatically going and being like, boom, I'm gonna just stay here 14 days. Now, I'll admit, for myself, I'm sometimes a little bit guilty of this. And what I mean by that is when I come to Chicago, I normally fly in on a Monday and I'm back out on a Thursday. Right. But when I'm out, once I leave here, I'm wrapped up, protected, everything. I make sure no way possible I'm getting anything. I got hand sanitizer on deck, all this with me, wipes and everything.
Right.
I get on the plane. The flights are now nobody's sitting next to you. You know what I'm saying? There's the middle seat, depending on which airline you take, the middle seats are open. So again, I'm doing that. Then when I'm going to my destination, it's just me. So, and the place where I'm at, I'm just hanging out there because I'm like, I ain't just trying to, I'll let people know, you know what I'm saying, I'm here, but overall, I ain't really kicking. I'm just out to get away from LA for a while to get a change of scenery.
Right, exactly.
So when I go back, again, following the same procedures, staying away from people, all that. So I know for a fact I'm good. Now some people are like, yo, you should still take the 14-day precaution just in case. Like, yo, I don't think I should have to. For me personally, my feeling is if I'm doing everything I'm supposed to do, I'm not taking any chance. I'm not even like you're supposed to keep your mask on the whole flight when you fly now. But there are people who are still taking. They say you can take it down when you're eating and drinking. Understandable, right? There's some people try to keep their shit off, and I'm like, nah, I'm good. As uncomfortable it may be at times, because again, when you're trying to sleep, it get hot on your face and all that. I'm like, you know what? I'll live with this.
Yeah, because it's like, and thinking about what you said about the whole country thing situation, like, for example, in Canada, Justin Trudeau was like, hey, until this stuff die down, I don't think anybody from the United States should come over this way or what have you. Because, I want y'all to get better and stay safe, but I want to keep my people safe too. And
that's what it was more than anything. I was like, It was more, y'all ain't shit. Keep away from my peoples.
Basically. And one of the first things that popped up into my mind, the majority of the shows that we know and love, especially the ones you know of, CW shows, are mainly filmed in Canada, i.e. Flash and Arrow, what have you. And it's like, I wonder what they going through and feeling right now.
Oh, I already know what it is. So because it's known that the CW films in Vancouver, and not only does it bring in American actors, but it employs a lot of Canadians, because the main thing with their SAG-AFTRA rules, in a sense, they have to have like at least 80% Canadians or something like that. So what they did, because they've been filming for a while. What they did was they flew everybody up that had to go up at the same time, quarantined them all for 14 days. Then they set the quarantine first, then the shooting afterwards. So they lined it up. So they knew, okay, cool. When we come here, we got to quarantine for 14 days. So they were like, all right, fly up. Any directors we need to fly up, all talent we got to fly up, crew we may need to bring in, writers, whoever we got to bring up, fly them up, quarantine them up for 14 days. Let's go to work so we can literally. They're trying to. Like, Canada's safer than everything else. So, like, I think any shows that are filmed in Canada that Americans watch regularly will get a good amount of content out of it, because they film it like normal. But the thing is, everybody's trying to hurry up and film, so they can have content in the can to, when it stops, it's not a complete standstill for them.
Okay, I get what you're saying.
So that's why, like, go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, I was going to say, because, like, as we speak right now, you got the second unit of the Batman that's supposed to be filming here in Chicago now. And, like, everybody all hyped and excited, but it's like you really can't get too close to it because of everything that's going on currently. And plus the fact, the way how commute's been going for people, especially, who go to work on the daily like myself, it's even more hectic than it usually would be, especially around rush hour time. So it's like, even if some folks really wanted to, ain't really too much of a good chance you can get close by to that area.
Dude, I remember when I was working downtown when they filmed Batman Begins, and The Dark Knight. And I remember how so many streets was like, everything had to keep operating as normal. It's just that those areas that they were filming in were locked off and everything. And like again, like you said, rush hour. But the thing now, because people would be able to stand around on the outside of the barriers, look and see what's going on and all this. Nah, man, I guarantee you they got that shit shut down even tighter.
Oh yeah, big time. I mean, plus the fact too, unlike yourself and me who know about the film industry or whatever and bits and pieces and what have you, everybody need to realize, yeah, it's a second unit, and yeah, the Batman's filming parts in here. There's no guarantee you're gonna see Robert Pattinson or Zoe Kravitz or somebody like that. They're just filming background scenes. You're not gonna see,
or the majority of what they may give you. You may see, let's be real, you may see a Jeffrey Wright sighting. You may get a Colin Farrell or a Paul Dano sighting. Those are things you might get. And again, that's not even guaranteed.
Exactly.
But Chicago has since Batman Begins, Chicago has been the backdrop for Batman movies because it looks like what they want to portray. Between that and New York, but it's more so Chicago has more of that feel for some reason of what they want Gotham to be.
Right.
Because New York is just, even we saw it in Joker, New York is just too identifiable.
Oh yeah, definitely. Especially when you got like trash all on the sidewalks and the street curbs or whatever. It's like, yeah, that's New York.
Right. And it's like, you get it. You get why they do what they look, but you look at certain things, you're like, that's just New York City. There's nothing that says this is Gotham.
Exactly.
You can call it Gotham all you want, but you're like, that's New York City. Now, even with Birds of Prey, and I think it's only because I live here now. I was like, that's downtown LA and Chinatown.
Right.
Like, I can easily identify it.
Like,
you know what I'm saying? By the way, sorry. Hold on real quick. By the way, to the listeners, I don't know what it is that's clicking. I keep hearing it. I think, Chauncey, do you hear it too?
Yeah, I'm hearing it also.
Okay, so to the listeners, like, what the hell is that clicking? I don't know. I have no clue.
Yeah, I'm
not it literally is clicking when I talk in these buds. And guess what? If I don't talk in these buds as of right now, you ain't got nothing else happening. So, yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm waiting on. I'm getting an adapter today. For those who don't know, I bought an adapter so that I can use my regular microphone with my tablet, and I'm gonna hook up speakers as well, so I can have the normal free-flowing setting that I normally have on the computer, the desktop, or the laptop with the tablet. So, just so people know. So, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, because, like, for example, when Man of Steel originally kicked off, and there were ramblings that they were, shooting in Naperville. It was like the way they just, hooked everything up on that is like there were some aspects you can kind of sort of recognize, but you really couldn't tell because it was so well put together. And, I gotta give credit where credit's due on that. And it's like Chicago Chicago, or if not Illinois in general, it's always has like, real interesting settings in terms of film over the years. Like, for example, the John Hughes movies. They always are set in Chicago, if not Chicago, somewhere in Oak Park or some other suburb or whatever.
And supposedly a fake suburb that was made called Shermer. Shermer is not a real city, ladies and gentlemen.
Right. Or better yet, like with the Halloween movies, everybody say, everybody want to know if Haddonfield really exists, but it's like, nah, it's kind of made up. And
the house is in Pasadena.
Right.
The house is out here in Pasadena, California.
Yeah, so we got our fair share of interesting stuff or whatever, but a couple things I wanted to rock with you on. Have you seen all of Lovecraft yet?
Of course.
Hey, I gotta be sure, bro.
Of course.
I want to say some stuff that's gotta be said, man.
Go ahead.
This show is bomb on point. I'm hoping and praying for a season 2.
I think we all are.
Praying they can bring back the original cast or some shape, form, capacity. This joint just gave me life, man. I just love it. And
I think,
go ahead.
I'm sorry. My apologies. I just think it depends on whatever was in their contracts for season 1. Like, if they have, like, there needs to be an option where if season 2 gets picked up, we get kind of first claim on you in a sense. That makes sense. Because, again, we already see Jonathan Majors out here collecting roles.
I can't wait to see him as King Conqueror. That's all I got to say.
I'm scared about that, too. I'm excited to see it, but I'm scared. Because Marvel has this thing of one and done in their villains.
This is true.
Kang is not a one and done villain. No. Even though Kang should not be, I still stand by this. Kang should not be the big bad for these next phases. He is not it. We've already had a cosmic one in Thanos. Exactly. I think Doom should be it. Doom, and you build off that. Journey Smollett's about to start getting roles. Anjanae Ellis. Yo, it took me a minute to be like, yo, why do I know this face somewhere? Why do I know this face? And then I looked, I was like, she was Sister Girl in Undercover Brother.
Yep.
And that's one of my favorite movies.
Mine too.
So again, y'all, I'm sorry about the clicking. I'm trying to figure out I'm thinking while I'm talking. But the cast has to be able to, there has to be an option for them. If not, it's going to be difficult to bring that original cast. But also, they can now do an anthology series where
what I'm thinking on also.
Each episode is just based on one character, but it goes into the whole story. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
right. That's what I was thinking about also. Because it's like, if you can't bring everybody back, just at least bring a couple of people back in some type of capacity. Because it's like, the way how it ended, it tripped me out. Because, of course, it was sad that Tick passed. Spoiler. But at the same time, too, it tripped me out when D had the old, high end Stark arm and snapped over.
Like I called her, she was Misty Knight Civil Rights Edition.
Right. She's like, they'll never learn. I'm like, alrighty. But then again, too, I can't blame her because with the trauma she went through with that damn Topsy Bopsy twins, them little heifers gave me nightmares, dog.
You, sir. I bullshit you not. I posted about it. I was like, yo, I understand what the Fiend is from WWE as a wrestler, as a character. But to hear "let me in" that way, and then hear the other "let me," I said, "Don't you ever use that word around me? You better say, can I come in?
Exactly.
Invite me inside. You better not ever say the 3 words "let me in" around me again.
Because
never say it.
Yeah, because I would keep it A100. Not since Linda Blair as Reagan in The Exorcist has a little girl spook me like that. I was like, what in the entire hell? I'm like,
that's a good one.
Man, because like visually alone, it's just like, ugh. I just don't even.
I was terrified,
bro.
I was terrified, bro. I was like, yo, this should not be a thing. Like, I can't live my life like this, man. And I was at the point where I was like, I love it. Again, this shows how much I love the storytelling. How much I appreciate Misha Green, what she's doing as a showrunner. But damn, it was great.
Yeah, and I was gonna say too, and I've talked to a couple of groups that I'm in that talks about the show and other shows and movies or whatever. A lot of people got to put more respect on Misha Green's name. Yes, Jordan Peele had something to do with it. Yes, J.J. Abrams had something to do with it. Misha Green deserves as much respect.
Here's the thing. This is the thing people got to remember. Jordan Peele and J.J. Abrams are the executive producers, which means they are the main ones to help find the funding. And because those names are attached to it, to do that, it opens up the door for HBO to be like, okay, this is interesting. Let's go with it. Again, J.J. Abrams already got a deal with HBO Max and all that. And then you got Jordan Peele, who's out here just killing the game. So why wouldn't you? And so you attach the showrunner and Misha Green. People got to remember, it's her show.
Yes.
It's not Jordan Peele's show. It's not J.J. Abrams' show. It's her show.
Right.
And that was a big thing for me, man.
Yeah, for sure. Indeed. And it just kind of kills me that, folks want to kind of get into feelings about, little theories about, oh, this ain't nothing but just another woman empowerment show, because it seemed like every time the main guy in trouble, a woman come. I'm like, chill with that. Let women have their shine. Let them have their time. Because especially episode 7, I was just gonna say, especially episode 7, that was hard hitting for me, and I'm a guy, and I was like, that's what's up. That's what's up indeed, and just shout out to them for doing that.
But here's the thing. What is wrong with that? You know what I'm saying? What's wrong with?
I find that. I'm
not saying you said, but I'm just talking about the people who say stupid shit like that. What's wrong with it? We got to stop being, and I say we collectively as society got to stop being in this archaic mindset that the only heroes and the only saviors and all these things positive in the films and TV shows can only be dudes, because that's not the case in real life. It never has been.
No, it's not.
And so when you see Letty put on a pedestal, when you see William is really Christina, when you see the thing with Ruby, you see the thing with Hippolyta, you see everything with Tick's ancestors, you're like, there's nothing wrong with this.
None whatsoever.
And everybody like, no, it's got to be about Tick. Does it have to be? Does it?
Not necessarily.
You know, because it's like, or
still,
do you want it to be?
And see, my thing is, he can still play an important part, but he knows that with the circumstances that was involved, especially when he's at risk, he knows he can't go through this BS alone. And especially to have a collective cast like that, I had no issue with it. I don't know why everybody else did. Or should I say the sensitive folk did.
I mean, bro, we already know why, though. Let's just be 100% honest. Again, we know why. It as much as, especially dudes, and there are a lot of women who feel like this. As much as they try to say, "Oh no, it's just forcing it down our throats." Here's always my rebuttal with that, and this is the same to, again, going back to that Collider Live episode where I had to come on it about after the Jordan Peele comments. Here's the thing: you feel like it's forced down your throat because you ain't seen it you ain't seen it really, and because you wouldn't allow it to be seen.
Mm-hmm.
You get what I'm saying? You wouldn't allow there to be a female protagonist, a hero, where stories are revolved around her of level of power, and she's not the damsel in distress. She's not subservient. She's not these different things. And so when you have that, and now you get people like, oh, they just gonna force this. No. If you'd allowed this to happen like it was trying to happen gradually and naturally, if you'd allowed this to occur, you wouldn't have this feeling now. But again, always use the analogy of water against a wall being blocking off a dam, and all of a sudden that water keeps just building pressure. So one day it just cracks and it just wipes away floods, and it'll reset evenly where everything is even. Now we're at the point where the flood comes through.
Yeah, man. Some cats lost cause. That's all I can say. They are.
I don't get it, man.
Yeah, I don't get it either. Just let women get their shine just as much as us guys do. Let them save the day, save the world, because they have the right and ability to.
Or let's go one step further, bro. Let's go another step further. Like, yo, okay, let women have their shine. Black people can have their leads in movies, as can Hispanic, Latin people, Asians. Again, there's nothing wrong with this. All of a sudden, you're trying to say it's forced diversity. Yeah, it's forced now because, again, you didn't allow it to naturally occur. You kept stopping it and cutting it off at the pass at any chance you had. And so now you're sitting here like, oh, it's forced. And don't nobody want to see that, or don't nobody want to hear about that, when you're a goddamn lie.
That's bull. Because another thing that kind of pops up when I'm hearing this, what are your overall thoughts about this whole Gal Gadot Cleopatra situation?
All right. So in general, let me get my first in general thoughts. In general, for far too long, we've had too many white people playing Egyptians. And I'm talking about white people. And when we know Egyptians were not white people, we know it. Because if people want to deny it, the number one example I can give you of anything is the Sphinx. The Sphinx were always made as depictions of the pharaohs, right?
Right.
And again, I'm sorry for the clicking because it's annoying me too. I apologize, y'all. I'm trying to figure out why is it doing this now and it hasn't done it before. The Sphinx are depictions of the pharaohs. Napoleon Bonaparte had the Sphinx's noses blown off because he said, quote, they had nigger noses.
Yeah, unfortunately.
So with that, you're like, oh, if that's, let me see if I can switch this real quick. Hold on for a second, because this shit is annoying me so much. Hold on. I'm going to go back to it a second. Let's see. What you've had that. Can you hear me?
Yep.
I can't hear you, of course. Let's try this again. Let's see. You turn up the speakers. Let's see. Clark. You hear me? I can hear you.
Okay.
Cool. That'll work. I didn't realize the volume wasn't up, and I thought it was. So much better. Sorry about that, y'all. I figured out. Oh, no, it's just the connection in general. That has nothing to do with me. That's just the connection in general. Okay. So, the thing with Napoleon Bonaparte, right? And saying the thing about the Sphinx had nigger noses and blah, 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 blah. Yes, that's an actual real thing. You can actually do research about it. Well, when it comes to Egyptians and Cleopatra, though, she's not full Egyptian. She's Greek, if I'm not mistaken. So, with that, she can have olive skin. But again, I know that Gal Gadot's nationality is something that applies to that as well. So I just don't understand what's wrong with casting a light-skinned black woman. But it's also Patty Jenkins. And Patty Jenkins, who's a star director, is going to get a star she works with regularly.
Oh yeah,
in Gal Gadot. No argument there. But I do really feel Nefertiti should be a black woman. The next time you cast pharaohs, they need to be black men because they are. The biggest slap in the face to black people everywhere, and granted we all didn't watch it, is the movie Gods of Egypt.
Yeah, I was gonna say between that and Exodus, Gods and Kings, that was made by Ridley Scott.
Too.
Where Sigourney Weaver played an Egyptian queen, don't know why. And Joel Edgerton played an Egyptian. I was like, don't know why. And it's like,
and again, and it's namely, people will try. See, and here's the argument: people are like, oh, well, what's wrong with white people playing black people? Because we're using historical figures in a sense, and they've been proven to be black.
Right.
So why are we sitting here and acting as if that's not a thing?
Right. Because I'll tell you from my, viewership watching or whatever, the closest thing we've had to a Cleopatra, as far as, someone of color playing that, is Gina Torres. And that was during an episode of Xena Warrior Princess.
Yep.
That's the closest thing. And she's Afro-Latina.
Mm-hmm.
So it's
that's
like...
the closest thing.
So
and...
Yeah,
go ahead, I'm sorry.
No,
go ahead.
No, go ahead. I'm good.
Nah, it's just like... I just want to say it's sad and it's frustrating that it's like, we did it once. Now settle for that and shut up and be quiet. Like, that's not how this works.
Yeah.
Man, I don't get it sometimes, bro.
Yeah, sometimes the industry, they have the ability to, right wrongs, but it seems like they're just so comfortable in just doing whatever to do to make a buck, which sucks.
Well, I don't even think it's just that. I think it's who's going to stop us? That mentality.
That too.
Who's going to stop us? Who's going to say we can't do this? Because we now, as a culture, will say, oh, well, we can protest and we can make stuff on social media and all this. And at the end of the day, it's not going to change. Unless they consider it a major blockbuster movie where it has to gross at least 600 million or so like that at the box office to be considered a success. They don't give a shit.
And the last big thing that we had of that as people was Black Panther.
Mm-hmm.
Last time we had something great like that.
And it's amazing how many people still to this day, not even including the unfortunate passing of Chadwick Boseman, still try to discredit that movie like, oh, well, it wasn't really that good. It ain't a good movie. Hey, if it ain't that good, tell me why that movie remained number one in the box office for 13 weeks. No one is going to go to repeat viewings of a not that good movie just because of white guilt or wokeness. Nobody is doing that.
And what's crazy, that criticism came a lot from these daggone hoteps. Because they was the main ones who constantly was saying, oh, well, Killmonger's the real hero. And Chadwick Boseman, he's just a a symbol of Obama, all types of BS, man. I was like, y'all need to just shut the hell up, please.
So this is a discovery I made a couple of months ago, and I don't know if you knew this. So what's the title of the movie?
Black Panther.
Okay. What does Killmonger become?
Villain.
No. He becomes Black Panther.
Okay.
Here's where I bring this up.
All right.
In the very beginning of the movie, what do you hear?
You hear like the prologue of T'Chaka talking to.
That's not T'Chaka and T'Challa. That's little Eric and Njobu.
You know what? I mixed it up. My bad. You're right.
Yeah, it's Eric and Njobu. The story is not T'Challa's arc; it's Killmonger's arc.
Right. You're right. My bad on that.
T'Challa is the star of the film because, of course, we were also pumped out the Civil War.
Exactly.
But the main arc of this story is Killmonger.
Yeah.
That's why it's not called T'Challa. You know, people are like, oh, it's called Black Panther, so it automatically means T'Challa. No, because with that regard, the story could have been about Shuri.
Because I was going to say, with all that being said, Black Panther is considered a mantle character. And in regards to like the books or whatever, yeah, it's been T'Challa for most people know, but it's also been Shuri. T'Chaka, has been one of the very first Black Panthers, and it's been throughout the whole Wakanda lineage of various people being Black Panther. Same thing can be said like Batman, for example. It has been
Exactly
all the time.
It's not always Bruce Wayne.
Right.
That's why if you remember when in the throne room and Killmonger first says, ask me who I am. And he says it to T'Challa. And T'Challa's like, no, because he knows who he is. He's like, ask me who I am. Because when you're asked who you are, you're going to respond in Shosha, in the culture, who you are. And that's why one of the elders finally said, in Shosha, who are you? And he said, I'm Njadaka, son of Njobu. And everybody was like, oh, shit. And then he said, I'm challenging for my birthrights to the throne and the claim the rights to the throne and the title of Black Panther. And so it's his when it comes to everybody. It's like, yeah, it's not that it's T'Challa's made to be Obama. No. Also, it shows these are the same idiots who have never read the Ta-Nehisi Coates run. Because the Ta-Nehisi Coates run is the main source for the movie. It's a political drama.
Exactly.
So I take all the I take hoteps with a grain of salt with anything they say. Anything.
Trust and believe, I do too. Especially with that and any other thing else that's out there. I'll be like, if y'all ain't doing no action, just shut the hell up with the armchair activism. Stay over there.
They make me sick.
Yeah.
I've been arguing, like, if we gonna go into it, you got hoteps now talking about some, man, y'all should vote for Trump. Look what he's doing for Black people and all this. I'm like, yo, are y'all fucking stupid? Are y'all stupid? Man, he out here getting criminal justice reform passed. Who has he freed?
People.
And those 3 people were done in camera and photo ops. Like, even Joe Biden sat there and said, we commuted the census of 38,000 people. That is proven. And because Barack Obama nor Joe Biden did it with a press, a whole bunch of cameras around, like, come on. And then like, oh, he gave $500 billion to HBCUs. Okay, I know a bunch of people went to HBCUs. And even though currently, campuses are shut down, they're like, the schools still ain't seeing none of that money. So, and then everybody was like, oh, well, because then it goes to that shit with Ice Cube. And Ice Cube, like, man, the Republicans said they're going to get $500 billion. And the Democrats said, wait until the election. Well, see, Democrats think about action. And it's like, yo, how fucking stupid are you?
And see, that's when this stuff, all the cube stuff that went down, I'm just like, dude, are you serious right now? It's like, do you not see the track record? Do you not see the fuckery they have caused the nation?
Bro, also, not even just with track record, it goes back to the Democrats. People say, oh, well, look at their track record. And then you're like, wait, y'all do understand somebody saying, wait, let's see what happens in the election is not wrong, because even if he is the president and it is a Republican Senate still with a conservative Supreme Court, he will never get shit done, i.e. Obama's trying to get, when Obama tried to get a lot of shit passed that never could because Mitch McConnell, who openly has stated he made sure nothing got done on his watch. He made sure of it. So then here's the biggest thing, bro. Here's the number one thing I need a lot of people to remember. So the Republicans said they are going to give $500 billion to Black communities. Okay. Okay. However, the Republicans cannot allow a current relief bill to help out Americans economically struggling throughout this pandemic. And that's, some of it is like 1.5, 1.6 trillion. If they can't get that done, what honestly makes you think that Black communities are going to get $500 billion?
And I'm not like laughing for the sake of being laughing, but it's like that you tell no lies when what you just said. It's like people don't know how to officially do math, with the exception of some of us. It's like, come on now.
I told people, I was like, I put it on my post on Facebook. I think you might have. I was like, yo, y'all literally fell for the dangly shiny carrot and thought it was yours.
Yeah.
Because they said, oh, well, the Republicans came up with an offer. Again, when is that going to pass? And also, I need people to be realistic with themselves as well. $500 billion for Black communities ain't shit.
Nope.
Because we're not just talking about Black communities in Chicago, LA, Oakland, and a couple of the boroughs in New York. There are Black communities all across the country in states that allow them. You know what I'm saying? That money is not going to. You honestly think they're going to disperse this money to these governments, and the government is specifically going to be like, well, this $500 billion is just for this. I know we need to get some infrastructure shit finished, but we can't touch that. It's for this. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen.
I was going to say, if there's going to be no such thing as reparations, what makes you think this is going to happen? It's not. I mean, sad to say, some words of these people out here can't be trusted.
No, and people just don't fucking realize that. They won't accept that. They keep thinking that, oh, you know, they put up an offer and put their money where their mouth is. No, they put a hypothetical offer.
Mm-hmm.
Now, don't get me wrong. I don't want to call Ice Cube a coon. I won't.
I'm not.
But I will say,
right.
I mean, I will just say he fell for the same ploy.
Right.
Again, without looking at track records, and everybody like, well, Democrats just take advantage of our vote. I hate to say this. Both political parties do. But unfortunately, when it comes to votes, especially in major elections, there are only two candidates, two parties that have any shot. I hate hearing people going, I'm voting for Jo Jorgensen. Why? Because she has my ideals. You realize she has no chance in hell of winning, right? Yeah, but still, I feel like if we keep voting for her, you know how many people have said that over the past 30, 40 years?
Right.
And nothing's changed.
Not one damn thing, unfortunately.
Also, people forget here's the thing people forget in general with any political candidate, no matter what the office is, when they campaign fundraise, yes, it's to help travel, make, banners, signs, things like that. But should they not, they also get to keep some of that money for themselves.
Yeah.
No matter who it is. It's surreal.
Yeah. It's like if they ain't fall for that silver carrot that you're talking about, best damn believe some of these folks will fall for the banana tailpipe. I hate to say that way, but that's what it seems like, man.
Like, I get it. I understand. And then it always, again, comes back to the, well, what did Obama do for black people?
Oh,
And
I hate that more than anything, but go ahead.
I'm like, what? I said, also, again, people hate to hit it. Black people in America are 13.4% of the population. So as much as, yes, we add to the culture, yes, we add to these different things, it is also needed to be spoken that, yeah, we're not the majority. But then they go, well, Biden passed the crime bill in 2000. Biden was on the crime bill in 2004. And could y'all not talk about the Congressional Black Caucus that passed it? People leave out chunks to suit their narrative. Like, I'm not saying he's completely absolved from that, but he also said it was a mistake. He's actually admitted to his mistakes. And we always say, I appreciate a candidate, a person that can own up to their mistakes and blah, 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 blah. Yeah, and they're like, oh, well, the crime bill put a lot of people in jail for drugs unnecessarily. Again, I don't know where people tend to forget this part. Drugs were illegal, even marijuana. At that time, marijuana was not looked at a thing as, oh, it was always deemed as harmful and illegal and blah, 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 blah. And people like, well, they still shouldn't lock them for a small amount. If you have a small amount of cocaine, you go to jail. But cocaine is also proven to have medicinal properties. So what are you telling me? They basically prescribe cocaine to people with narcolepsy.
Yep.
So when people keep bringing all this other shit up without bringing up the whole thing, everybody like, oh, well, Kamala Harris locked up black people in Oakland when she was the DA. People, you ask a lot of people, they're like, yeah, the niggas that got locked up deserve to get locked up.
Basically. But no, that can't be done because, her being a woman of color, that shouldn't be done. People kill me with their little disillusional narratives. I don't know, man.
I always think is people forget when they have a job what their job entails. And again, she was a prosecutor as well as a district attorney. A prosecutor's job is to prosecute. Unfortunately, whether people want to admit it or not, if you show implicit, let's say Kamala Harris had 12 cases on a day, right? On one day. Out of those 12, let's say 8 were black men. Out of those 8, and all 8 had low-level possession.
Right.
And let's say out of those 8, she let go of 6. Just to be like, well, at least I kept 2 so they can be cool. Do you understand how much that is a reflection of her?
Very much so.
But people don't get that.
And
they forget that part.
Right. And see, people need to realize too that you can't put the whole kinfolk thing into that play because she is professional. She has to abide by the law, regardless of any type of personal feelings.
And people forget that part too.
Yeah. And that's what
so many people, again, social media activists, I'm sorry.
Which kind of brings up one more thing for me on that. When you social media activists or whatever, I actually caught some the other day from Little Seals, and Amanda Seals.
Okay, yeah.
And she went on this tirade about how smart she is and how Black people need to wise up about quit asking for reparations and this and that and so on. And it's like, this, I would like to rock with you on that, but I kind of find her diatribes to be faulty. Because, like, for example, with that whole Myron Roll situation and how that went all sideways and crazy, it just kind of like, I want to believe you, but due to your past stuff, you said, I'm not too sure.
Well, Amanda and I have hung out a couple times. You know, we rock with each other, but she has said some things. Again, I think the thing is when it comes to reparations, and I'm not going to speak for her.
Right.
I think in my perspective, it's we have to understand the realization of it. You got to have a House and a Senate, along with a president.
Right. Somebody's trying to hit me up.
Oh, okay, that's what it was.
Yeah.
So you got to have a House and a Senate, along with a president, who are all like, yeah, this is what needs to be done. We need to give reparations, blah, 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 blah. Then the problem becomes, okay, every Black person that was here, again, we know this, every Black person is not the descendant of a slave. It's unfortunate. It's just real. So now you got to go through the process of figuring out who deserves this and who doesn't. Or do you just say, this is a reparations payment to all Black people?
Mm-hmm.
Because I think if you do that blanket statement, as much as I would love it, I'd love it personally, but I think it would cause more chaos than anything.
That's how I feel about it, because it's like one of the few aspects I can't agree with her upon is kind of basically what you just said. It's like, as much as it would be nice to get a chunk or earning of something, it's going to be difficult to go through all types of records, all types of, backgrounds or whatever on who truly does deserve something and who shouldn't get nothing. So that's kind of been the thing overall with that situation. And it's kind of, piggybacking off the whole $5 billion issue. Again, if they're not going to do anything about reparations, or, as you said, the whole unemployment thing, what makes you think it's $5 billion, $100 billion going to happen?
Which makes zero sense to me. Because if you're looking at the way the election is going right now, Democrats will continue to control the House. Right? There's a high possibility they may get the Senate, or if they don't get the Senate, they get enough to stop the filibuster.
Right.
Okay, they stop the filibuster where automatically, if it's 60 votes on the Republican side, they can do whatever they want. Mm-hmm. They stop that. So you're telling me if Donald Trump gets reelected, that automatically the Senate gonna be like, here go $500 billion to Black people? This current Senate, like, let's be honest, it's not gonna happen.
No.
So would I love to see reparations? Yeah, but the problem is also, where does it stop? Because again, you got to look at something fiscally accurate. We start giving money to Black people, right? Now, are you giving people just like with this stimulus? Are you giving people money just for Black people, or are you giving it based on their dependent? Then what dependent do you stop at, and all this other stuff? You see what I'm saying? Like, it adds up so much, because you say, okay, we're giving out reparations. What's the amount? Because again, that's another problem. No amount, unless it's super high and stupid, will be sufficient.
Right.
Because you can't. Let's hypothetically say, you give every Black person $25,000. Okay, across the board, evenly. You are going to have those people who are legit descendants of direct slaves, not people just claiming they descendants of slaves, the legit descendants of slaves who are going to be, well, my forefathers put in so much work and they built this. Why is this all they get? Why shouldn't they get more? And then you have that part. You see what I'm saying? It's never gonna be balanced for everybody, no matter what.
No.
And people don't see that. People just like, well, just give everybody a payment and that's good. There's more to it, especially when now you're saying, okay, cool, let the government pay out everybody.
Right.
Let the government pay people. But then now you're looking at, like I said, this ain't enough for me. This don't solve my family's pain we went through. Like, is it your family's pain or your bank account? Because then you got to discern between that. And again, I hate to say it, but it's just what we see with our people, unfortunately. I will always root and love and hope to see the best out of our people, no matter what. But every time we try to, every single time, we end up seeing something, hearing something that make us go, well, God damn.
Mm-hmm.
We have that, and people forget that.
And it's like, as much as I love my black people or whatever all day, it seems like there's some days where if it's not an uphill battle against racism or what have you, it seems like there's also an uphill battle amongst us in terms of wanting to live comfortably versus wanting everything and anything out there to prove, we're the biggest this or that out there in the world. And it's like, we got to do better just to put our heads together and make some stuff happen. But that's always hard to do.
Again, we can't even get on the same page of staying in the house to make everybody safe from during a global pandemic.
Nope.
We can't even get on that page. So if we can't get on that page, how can we get on the page of anything else? Again, you got people saying the virus is a hoax. Like, how is it a hoax when people are dying? Oh, it's not that serious. How is it not that serious when random people are dying? Oh, well, we should get herd immunity. That's not a thing. Because even if that's a thing, this is something people forget with herd immunity. Okay, let's just say we all decide to say, let's just say the majority of people say, you know what? We're just going to get herd immunity. Everybody gets the virus. We get it over with. Bam. Here's the problem with that. In order for herd immunity to happen, you have to have a percentage of those people that's doing it die. It has to happen.
Keep in mind, we already got 200,000 deaths as is.
As is. So you want the country as a whole, to sit here and try to say, let's all play herd immunity and see what happens if we can do that. And then we'll all be okay. But again, it's proven that's not the case. Remember, we only thought at first only those who are immunocompromised, who are old, obese, and in those high risk categories were the only ones who would be truly affected by this virus. That's all we thought. That was all we knew. Figured out that's what it was. But now we find out that, oh, you could be healthy. Then you say, oh, well, you never know if they had underlying conditions. No. It's been proven people were healthy.
Right.
And their bodies just were like, fuck this. Can't do it anymore. And so that herd immunity philosophy or theory goes out the window. People don't, again, the easiest way to have dropped this down was to flatten that curve, right? And then people are like, well, what's flattening the curve going to do? It makes as less people as possible have the virus, so the virus is not spreading. Then everybody's like, well, this is the best part behind that, because I've been forgetting about this one. Well, I'm not going to do anything until they have a vaccine. Okay, they're making a vaccine. You going to take it? Nope.
That one always trips me out. It's like, got something that can make you feel better, but you don't want to take it because...
Now, granted, I don't trust it myself personally, because I trust no vaccine that happens within 6 months. I never will. Does it make sense?
No, I get you.
I can understand
a year or so.
Go ahead.
Like a year or so, I can understand, but 6 months, yeah, that's a little too fast.
Right. Give me a year or so, and then I'm like, cool. But everybody wants 6 months so they can hurry and go back to work and go back to life. Again, at the debate, this idiot said, we have a virus coming in a few weeks. It'll be ready in a few weeks. But everybody says it won't be ready until 2021. No, it'll be here in a few weeks. You've been saying that for the longest.
Yeah.
People fall for the okie doke. People fall for the okie doke, man.
Simpletons, I'll tell you. Simpletons.
I just don't. Again, I want the best for the human race first and foremost, and more specifically, my race.
Agreed.
But this has shown that the human race, not even the human race, humans that reside and dwell in the United States of America, because also when people be like, I'm an American, you'd be like, okay, so you know Mexicans are American too, right? And they'd be like, huh? You're like, yeah, it's the United States of America. Yeah. Canadian, United States is your nation, but we're all on one continent. Because just like Egyptians are Egyptians, but they're also African.
Yeah.
But people of the United States have proven that not only are they're the most selfish people on the planet, but also B, they're stupid as fuck.
Yeah. As much as we want to hold out hope or what have you, your shirt says the most right now. Your shirt says the most right
shit.
Because yeah, go ahead.
No, I'm just saying, because that's all I was like, because
man.
You were saying every time we hit what?
No, I was just saying because it's just like every time you want to hold out and hold hope for the best, it's just you got one or two idiots, no matter if it's a Chad or a Karen, no matter if it's Sally, one of us, who says and does the most dumbest thing ever. It's just like, you gotta go fuck this shit. Because y'all ain't never gonna get it.
Not at all. Not at all. And that's the problem.
Very much.
What about me? What about me? Again, people in Michigan and all those places, when they started protesting, even when they were protesting out here in Huntington Beach, I want to go golf. I want to go to Applebee's. I want to get my hair done. That is the reason you're protesting a lockdown during a global pandemic.
And
it makes no fucking sense at all.
No. And it's funny you mentioned Michigan because if memory serves me correct, especially Flint, Michigan, they still got issues with water. But you worry about a haircut. You worry about going to the beach. You worry about going to the bar. Fuck out of here.
Yeah, Flint still ain't got clean water. So, man, we can keep talking about this. But look, I know you got to go kick it with the homies. I'm jealous because I just want to kick it with people. Eventually, I want to be around people.
All I'm doing is going to do a little social distance cigar smoking. That's it. Ain't nothing
that's still being around humans.
Yeah, no, I get you.
But go ahead and tell the people how they can reach you, bro.
Y'all can hit me up on Instagram at CCW_78. You can also look me up on Facebook at Chauncey C. Woodson. And I still got that little IG show that's going to be coming up pretty soon called Chauncey Chat Live. That's going to be happening actually in a few days. So be on the lookout.
Nice.
Be posting. I have this cool gentleman with me as one of my first guests, if anything. Gonna chop it up on some movie TV-ish. Yeah, I'm talking about you. So
sorry, I didn't know
that happen. We're gonna make that happen. And
for sure, man. Always I appreciate talking with you, man. I'm glad I can get into these deep convos with you. I get into it with a lot, but our conversations are deeper on a different level because of where we see things from, the perspectives in which we see things from. So I appreciate that. And again, it ain't always got to be, yeah, we on the exact same page. We may have differences of opinions and things, and then we can come to a rational understanding on stuff, unlike Hoteps. Now, y'all already know the drill with me. Y'all already know the drill. Twitter, Instagram is down below. If you want to do this as well, join the Patreon, Supervillain Squad, patreon.com/Mr. J. Washington. Blurs in the Hood, Mad Titan Podcast. Y'all know all about that. I will holler at y'all for another one. Thank y'all for checking us out. I'm out. Bye.
Peace.